Oh, Big Queen pretty.
I'm Nena Couch, head of Area Studies and Thompson Library Special Collections with the Ohio State University Libraries. It is my great pleasure to introduce Big Queen Rukiya of Creole Wild West Masking Indians of New Orleans. The Indians come out on Mardi Gras Day, St. Joseph Night, and Super Sundays for their community. Rukiya is an amazing artist, as you will see. I met her through faculty and students from our OSU Newark campus who created a documentary featuring Rukiya, It's Your Glory, the Big Queens of Carnival, which was nominated for a regional Emmy Award. Rukiya, you conceive and make a new suit every year that you wear for Mardi Gras. Each one is different and amazing, and each suit has a special meaning behind it. At the Jerome Lawrence and Robert E. Lee Theater Research Institute, we're so honored to have the suit that you made for 2015. I am the first gold. And I would really love for you to talk to us about the meaning that that suit holds.
When coming to America, I am the first diamond and I am the first gold. I am the living earth. So that suit is describing who they found here in the Americas that was already here. Because when they came, they didn't bring women. They only brought men. The women was already here, and those were my ancestors, the Choctaw Indians. Now we're going to flip it. That's the history. Now we're going to flip it and turn it into Indian when I chant, when I come out Mardi Gras Day. I'm the queen that ride the buffaloes through these city streets. I'm the one they come from miles and miles around to meet. And oh, when I dance, gold and diamonds float underneath my feet. I am Big Queen, Creole Wild West, pretty, pretty queen.
So could you talk about when you're out in the street and how you bring life to the movement that you make in the suit, how you bring life to the suit and what you do when you're out with it, in it?
Well, it goes to how the suit is put together, because that's a reason why that they're called suits. Everything has like a suit has a vest. My suit would always have ribbons. Ribbons is a movement. When I move my body, it moves. And the ribbons have meanings to us in the culture. The plumes, the feathers, they move with the wind and with the movement of my head and wherever we put them. That has meaning in the culture. The marabou has meaning in the culture. The ruffles have meaning in the culture. Even the pieces that we bead tell our story of when we come out that year. So if you look at my suit and what I've beaded, what I said, you will see it in the front of the apron. On the back, you will see an African beaded mask. That's saying where the gold and the diamonds came from. So the suit and the movement and the spirit all works together. But it's whatever I put on that suit makes my body move. And it's like magical. But when you start taking the feathers and the ribbons off, you have a costume. So that's the difference between a costume and a suit and the movement.
So when you came here as part of the programming for a carnival exhibition that we did, you spoke, you did a presentation for our students and faculty and for the community. And you didn't just speak, you sang and you danced. And that was an amazing synthesis of everything that I think you do when you go out. Could you talk a little bit about that? Because it's not just going out wearing the suit. it brings together so many different elements of what you do. Could you talk a little bit about what happens when you go out?
Yeah, it's a song that we sing, and it's call and respond. So the people have participate, and they're having the experience with us. Because when we say whatever we're saying, they chant something back. We chant, they say something back. And when I was at the college, I was by myself. So I was acting it, all the parts out. I wanted to try to let them have a little bit of the experience that happens on that day and how magical and spiritual it is.
Yeah, you did a great job. As I've said to you before, and you know what happened that day is that the students who normally dash out of a presentation or sometimes leave before the presentation is over stayed, and they stayed and they stayed after you had finished. They just wouldn't leave, and they wanted to hear more from you and wanted to see more of what you do. It was an amazing experience for me because I don't see that kind of behavior from our students typically. So I did want to ask you about masking, because in a conversation that you and I had, you talked about the mask actually coming off when you go out. And so could you talk to me about that a little bit? I think it's really something that's really critical to understanding.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna go with this photographer. He was giving away free shoots, right? And he, of the people, the culture bearers, and he told the Indians, I want you to bring your suit. We're gonna take a picture with you in the suit and a picture in your regular clothes. You know, like, this is who are you? It's like, that's not you, and this one is you. So when it came to me and he asked me, I said, well, that one is the real me.
The one in the suit.
Yeah, in the suit. This one in the clothes is the mask. This is the mask. So that's to say that some of us would identify as American Indian. We more or less bring more to it than just masking. It's two different masks. It's the African Americans masking, and they're masking with a story about how the Indians helped them to escape from being enslaved and brought into the Indian villages where they married and had families with the Indians. Then you have the Indians, because we had to look alike in order to take them out of slavery, hide them, and disguise them. We had to look alike. So, and then you have the Indians that had to put on the mask and to take on another identity in order to survive throughout the years. And that's my ancestors. And you will see the difference in the way that we mask. So those are the two differences. One is taking off and one is putting on.
I do want to say that, you know, we're so thrilled to have your I Am the First Gold suit here, but we're not the only institution that holds one of your suits. I know that you went to Paris last year for the opening of an exhibition there where one of your suits now resides. Would you talk a little bit about that suit and that experience of going to Paris for the exhibition?
Well, that suit meant a lot to me too. I guess all my suits do, because they're a part of me, and I'm always telling a good story, and I feel good, and the message is always a positive one. That is the white buffalo suit, and it's about the calf woman that brought the peace pipes to the American Indian and told them about the rules and set out a path for them to follow. And that suit was there in the museum, and I and another guy was the only living artist in the whole exhibit. Everything else was artifacts. And to see the suit there underneath glass, and people don't know who I am, and I see how they interact with the suit and how they look, I'm like, wow, because you never really see yourself. You never see yourself unless somebody have videoed you. But to see the look on a person's face and what it brings and how they feel, and that's a part of it, is making people feel a certain kind of way. And that's what that suit does when people look at it. And that suit, when I came out, and it was about, I'm the queen that ride the buffaloes. I float on air. I am the spirit, oh, can't you see? You got a problem, I'll set it free. Indians, oh, Indians, come see me.
And the women are the ones who bring the peace.
Yes, they bring the peace, the earth, the problem solvers. We do a lot, and even though it's a male-dominated culture, the women still have a big part. And to represent the queens in that kind of way is great in the culture.
I want to acknowledge that you are you're working to help your community in this time of crisis right now.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm making masses. If you don't know, New Orleans was #2 after New York, and as a dire need of face masses. So I've been making masses from fabric. I'm a fabricaholic. I collect fabric, and I've been making masses and giving them away free to the public and to the hospitals and whoever want them.
I want to thank you for doing that for your community. It's so important, and it just is an extension of what you do when you go out on the street and support your community. So Rukiya, can you tell me what your suit for this year was?
This suit was, this suit also, this is my chief 50th year of massing in the culture, and we came out in white. And this suit name is 2020 Dress to Kill. And it's about the story of the scalping, and how they said the savages were scalping the Europeans, but they never say about how the Europeans were scalping the Indians and who scalped who first. So I have scalps on my suit that represent all the battles that I've been in. But when the Indian took a scalp, it was more of an honor to the person in that they fought a good battle, and they wore the hair proudly of the hair that they took from their enemy, and it adorned their clothing, their staffs, and their shields. Whereas when the Europeans scalped an Indian, it was a bounty, and they got $5 from it. So we always had different meanings and the reason why we scalped, but the Europeans scalped first. And when I came out, I'm more or less singing, if my needle and thread don't get you, my bullets will. I sold all night long. I got a soul.
And there were bullets on the suit as well?
Yeah, got bullets. I have like, that's my waist on the suit, my band, my waistband is ammo. And I got one live bullet in the front of my band. And the rest, the pictures are beaded. And we have a saying know whom bow, because this culture is about resilience. And no matter what, we're going to do what we do every year in defiance, because all the injustice that happens to us. So on my headdress, I have know whom bow. That means we're not going to bow down. We're not going to run, and we're not going to hide. And on my back of my jacket is blow for blow, meaning that whatever you do, the blow for blow is going to come back to you. So I think this suit really like kind of goes on to what's happening now. And it's so strange that all this stuff is still happening here in the United States. Not to bring any drama, but it's still happening. We're still getting scalped. So yep, that's the suit, dressed to kill.
I'm glad you got to wear it once. I'm sorry you didn't get to wear it more. Rukiya, I want to say thank you so much for your wonderful artistry, your wonderful commitment to your community. We're so honored to have your suit at Ohio State. It's clear that you've made a big impact on our students. You were such a wonderful participant in the documentary that the Newark students did, and coming and speaking to our other students was really great. We hope to have you back when we can have other events on campus. But thank you so much, and thank you for doing this video with us. We really
And I want to thank you all so much for giving me the opportunity and showing interest in our culture here in New Orleans, which has been hidden for centuries.
Somebody got so. I sold that money for the holiday. Somebody got so. Big papa coming from way uptown. Somebody got so. They sold that money, gonna take me now. Somebody got so. Get a flat boy, jumping with the butcher knife. Somebody got so.